Hi friends, we're going to read today Henri's Scissors. Now this is about Henri Matisse. Now he is French, which is why I'm going to say Henri because it's the more American pronunciation for it. But if we wanted to be technical, it would be Henri. Matisse got as close as one can get to heaven with a pair of scissors. And that's a quote by somebody. In a small weaving town in France, a young boy named Henri Amélie Bonnet Matisse watched his mother paint china. He wanted to paint china too. Now China's not like the country China. It's actually like this kind of pottery too. He drew pictures in the sand and he drew pictures in his school books. When Henri was a young man, he drew pictures in his law books and on contracts, deeds, and wills. That's not good to do. Henri was sick in bed with appendicitis one winter, which is just kind of a thing that doesn't make you want to move, really. His mother gave him a box of paints, and he painted until he was well. He kept on painting, forgot about law, and left his small town to be an artist in Paris. Henri painted pictures day after day and year after year. He was happy and his paintings made people happy. When Matisse was an old man, he felt ill, so ill he couldn't paint, so ill he couldn't sit up, so ill he could only lie in bed and sleep. His paintings floated by in his dreams. Matisse finally opened his eyes, and they were filled with sadness. Now he must remain in bed or use a wheelchair. Would he ever have the energy to paint again? When Matisse was strong enough to travel, he went to the seaside, and the sea air might help him get well. Before long he sat up, and a little later he drew. Then, one day, Matisse picked up a pair of scissors and cut out shapes from painted paper. He was drawing with scissors. A pair of scissors is a wonderful instrument. Have you ever thought that about scissors? We haven't thought it that we could, paint or draw with scissors. Usually you guys draw and then you cut out with scissors, right? Matisse cut paper all day. My pleasure is cutting things out. It grows even greater. Why didn't I think of it earlier? His assistants painted paper for him all day because he didn't have colored paper like we do. It seems to me that I'm in a second life. So he now uses all of these different shapes. Now, here's a question. I call them shapes, but does that look like a circle or a square to you? No, really. Let's talk about that soon. One evening, Matisse lay in bed and he drew the faces of his grandchildren on the ceiling with a piece of chalk tied to a long pole. So he literally was like this on the ceiling. Wouldn't that be weird? As he fell asleep, they looked down on him and saw him in his dreams. They saw the shapes that surrounded him in his sleep. Now, this one kind of looks like a dove, but then this kind of looks like a nose or like a heart with three things to it. And this is for sure a circle, but these kind of look like leaves. Now, they're called a different kind of shapes, all right? So we know our regular shapes, circles, squares, triangles, those are called geometric shapes. We don't need to learn that term. But things like these, my friends, these are called free-form shapes because you can do whatever you like with the shapes. They can look like leaves, they can look like noses, they can look like eyebrows, they can be anything, all right? As the time went on, Matisse cut bigger and bigger shapes. They filled his seaside room with color. You see, as I'm obliged to remain often in bed, I have made a little garden around me where I can walk. There are leaves, fruits, and a bird. And his leaves, his fruits, and a bird were all different shapes to him. I am deeply contented and happy. These were all different shapes he used. Very cool, right? Then one night, Matisse walked out into his paper garden, and the rainbow of shapes cradled the old artist and carried him into heaven. So yes, he did die, but that's okay. Are some of the stars we see at night coming from Henri's scissors? Perhaps. And even these stars are different from the regular geometric stars, right? They have a little bit more points to them. And that is our book today. Now, I know that it talked a lot about different kinds of shapes, and I know that your brain is like, whoa! So, think about the different kinds of shapes. We got our circle, we got our squares, but maybe we can add those together to make a new kind of shape, right? I hope you guys are doing well, and I hope I get to see you all soon. Bye, friends.